Hey folks, Gun Historian here. Sorry, it's been a while since I've posted anything. Main reason is life got busy. I have a real job. Real job got busy. This is just a kind of hobby working with some of these old guns. We redid our laundry room, which is why my shop is now full of crap, including like my wife's shoes and stuff. So anyway, I'm slowly but surely getting it back to order. Plus work's just been crazy recently. So again, I have a real job. This is just a hobby I do in my basement. Anyway, I know I promised a video. Next video would be on some Remington shotguns, specifically the 878. Along with the Wars of Western Field 600 AERI. I actually shot a bunch of footage for that and I wasn't happy with any of it. While waiting for time to get back to those, I have started working on another project. This is on a E. James Company back action side lever gun. And here we go. So, doing a little work on it. You can see back action locks, pretty straightforward. Side lever gun. Birmingham view marks. The barrel does not have any of the marks that should for it to be post 1875. People say that this company, E. James Company, Enos James Company, was founded in, I've heard everything from 1878 to 1887. People flipping numerals, stuff like that. General consensus is right around 1880. I can tell you I did not find them in the list of gun makers or other gun trade folks in the Birmingham directory from the late 1860s, so it's definitely post 1870. But the proof marks, like I said, there's nothing in there that shows that it would be post 1875 when they started including the bore or the caliber on there. There had been bore measurements prior, but they were always nominal bore. Like this gun has an 11 on it. It's a tight 10. Just like my WNC Scott side-by-side hammer gun, also a tight 10 has nominal bore of 11 on it. That happened well before 1875. But the main reason that I wanted to kind of chat about this gun very briefly, and this will be brief, is I wanted to kind of show you all some of the difference, especially if you watched the video of me taking part in reassembling the lock plates on that Army and Navy CSL. So the difference between like a D-grade Army and Navy CSL, which, adjusted for inflation was several $1,000s, like $4,000 or something like that, adjusted for labor dollars, right? So how much of your annual take home it was for the average person, that gun's really like a $17,000 gun, because it was, 17 pounds, 17 shillings. The average take home pay at the end of the year for an English person in 1890 was 50 pounds. So 17 pounds, 17 shillings is a significant amount. So if you take the the average wage for an Englishman today, and you do that same percentage, it comes out to like 17, almost $18,000 for that gun. So I can totally believe that because it's a beautiful gun. But anyway, so if you remember the locks on that one, I'll put a link in the description. The locks, lock plate, everything was highly polished, looked really good. Nothing jeweled, nothing true, modern best gun in there, but very highly polished. This was a gun, from E. James Company. What they were really well known for, and I'm going to pick up that pin before I lose it. I got the lock plate flipped around, so this is the right lock plate. But you can see here, E. James Company. What they were known for was making guns for export to the United States. And so they were affordable guns. They were better than your cheap Crescent Davises. They were, better than, even a lot of Savages and stuff at the time. Again, these are going to be 2-iron Kroll barrels, not true twist, but true Damascus Kroll. They were good. For black powder, right? These are black powder guns. No nitro proofs, well before the days of nitro. And you know, they were meant more for the working man. So one of the things I wanted to show you, and how you know that, I mean, number one, the engraving is not nearly as nice as it was on the Army Navy CSL. You know, you got some ducks. You do have a little rose and scroll work, you know, very nice border engravings, things like that, although that's not so much scroll as a zigzag. But, you know, you've got engraved screws. They just aren't engraved to the level of detail in the Army Navy, or, you know, even some of the other guns, the W&C Scott and Son. You know, I mean, it's more basic, still better than, you know, basic guns that you'd find from later. But the truly telling thing is when you open up these lock plates, you know, I mean, they are color case hardened, which is great. But, you know, you can tell some of the milling, you know, really not even milling. The filing on it and polishing is not as good. It's particularly evident on the mainspring. If I can get in here, you can see all those filing marks there on the sides of the spring. Deep gouges, filing marks. So this was more filing it to get it to where it was, you know, good enough. It's going to work. Not necessarily filing it to the point of, you know, beautiful mirror polish. It's a lot rougher, you can tell. You know, if you remember, I'll put a link in the description, link in the comments here about the Army Navy CSL locks. But I mean, even here you can see some big nasty filing marks on that, where all these pieces were filed and everything like that. You know, not as mirror of a polish. It's not going to slip off. You know, that's your tumbler. It's not going to slip off that sear spring or off the sear as easily. A little bit grittier feel to it. Not as highly polished as you know, the Army and Navy CSL. You know, even to the point where the bridle, which is still slightly dirty, but it's not nearly as mirror polished. You know, the trigger and sear, you know, trigger bar and sear are not as highly polished. The sear spring is definitely not as highly polished. You know, and it is what it is. Here's, in fact, this is the left lock together. Even to the point that when this was assembled, you can see there's actually wood in the middle of the mainspring there. You know, and that doesn't get in there from, you know, use. That gets in there from somebody shoving the mainspring in there and being like, hey, get your ass in there. So it's probably some wood from around here. But anyway, you know, the long and the short of it is, you know, when you buy a higher end gun, you know, when you collect higher end guns, when you open them up, you're going to see, you know, higher quality, not just on the outside, but on the inside as well. Really and truly, these were about, you know, at this point in time, it was about efficiencies. You know, okay, if we don't have to spend as much time polishing this, then we can build this gun for cheaper. If we don't have to spend as much time filing these things, we can build this gun for cheaper. We can get it out to sale quicker. We can make more money that way, versus building a very high-end gun that's going to take a lot of time. You're going to be able to make fewer of them. The price point's going to be higher. Your market's going to be smaller. And so that was the reality of the time for these kind of trade dealers. So this was typically sold by Folsom, which was Crescent. You know, Davis, Crescent, Folsom, all those. And yeah, I mean, it was, they sold them under the E. James name. These were not sold under a trade name. They were sold under the E. James name. But, you know, if you look up old, you know, 1880s, 1890s ads from Folsom, you know, you get that. I lied. It's going to be under a 10-minute video. But anyway, you know, just wanted to point that out. I'm going to work on these. I might actually polish these up just a little bit more. It's not necessarily bad that it's rough. That will actually hold some oil a little bit better. You know, these were pretty gunky when I got them. They cleaned up well with, you know, bronze brush. But, you know, I may, you know, at least the flats here or something. May polish them up a little bit with some compound on a wheel. We'll see. Especially any surface that mates. You know, this is pretty rough out here. Yeah, that mates to another surface. I might actually, it's even rougher there where it actually mates to the lock plate. And you can see big gouges there. I'm not going to get rid of those big gouges, but I may polish it up a little bit so that moves just a little bit easier. I'll definitely polish the this here surfaces, locking surfaces, and the bar there to make the action a little bit smoother. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So working on this one, again, British gun made for export to the Americas, and probably circa 18, truly it should be pre-1875, which is interesting because, like I said, E. James and Company, most people think they started business after that. So I'm actually going to be over in the UK soon, and may just see about taking a look in Birmingham library, seeing if I can find some information on exactly when they started. So there you have it. All right, thanks for tuning in, folks. I'll try not to be as long for the next episode. Thanks again for checking in with Scattergun Historian. Hope you learned a little bit today, just about, it's not just the outside, but it's also the inside with these different grades of guns from the Brits. And yeah, I'll have some more videos soon, promise.